Days of Our Lives recap for Wednesday and spoilers for Thursday, April the 30th to May the 1st, 2025. Salem continues to shake under the weight of explosive drama in Days of Our Lives this week, as secrets are revealed, relationships are tested, and the line between right and wrong blurs more than ever. Wednesday, April 30th, episode delivered a storm of emotions, from EJ's shocking reunion with Susan, Johnny's controversial decision not to adopt, to Kayla's desperate plea for a drug that could save Beau's life. And the spoilers for Thursday, May 1st, hint that the stakes will rise even higher, with a hospital break-in possibly becoming Beau's only hope for survival, while what seem like innocent business conversations might ignite deep conflicts between brothers, lovers, and wounded hearts. Days of Our Lives recap for Wednesday. Let's begin with the long-awaited homecoming of EJ. After his shocking shooting, Salem has held its breath, wondering who could have possibly pulled the trigger. Was it an act of vengeance, a moment of blind rage, or a calculated maneuver by someone much closer than expected? Now out of the hospital, EJ returned home to the ever-enigmatic DiMera mansion. But instead of peace, he found something chilling. His Aunt Susan mysteriously back in town and seemingly in touch with powers that Salem has learned never to underestimate. With an unsettling calm, she placed what appeared to be a crystal ball, or was it some otherworldly tool of divination, in the center of the living room? Her motives were unclear, but one thing was certain: Susan never acted without a deeper purpose. Was this a ritual? A warning? Or perhaps a desperate attempt to sever the growing bond between EJ and someone from his past? As EJ tried to make sense of his fractured memories, he came across footage from the security cameras Rafe had installed in the mansion. He watched, tension mounting with every frame. Was it real? A memory? Or the distorted dream of a man still plagued by trauma? In the video, or perhaps only in EJ's mind, he saw Johnny standing at the door, holding a gun. Was this the moment of truth, the final puzzle piece that reveals the identity of his shooter? Or was it Johnny's nightmare bleeding into reality, a subconscious confession shaped by guilt, fear, and his ever-complicated family history? After all, in Salem, dreams and reality often dance a dangerous tango, one where waking up doesn't always mean safety. Meanwhile, at University Hospital, time was ticking away for Beau. Trapped in a medical crisis with no clear resolution, his condition deteriorated. Kayla, torn between her duty as a doctor and her desperation as someone who loves Beau, made an impassioned plea to Dr. Russell. Her voice cracked as she begged for access to a potentially life-saving drug. But the answer she received was nothing short of heartbreaking: the drug hadn't been in production long enough. There were no guarantees, no supplies, and no miracles from the pharmaceutical world on the horizon. But Salem doesn't wait on red tape when a loved one's life is at stake. In a moment of grim resolve, Kayla whispered her fears about Beau's fate. Her words struck Sean like a thunderclap. And as always, when the world fails, family steps in. Determined to save his father by any means necessary, Sean began to hatch a dangerous plan, one that may involve breaking laws, hospital security, and moral codes alike. Desperation, after all, breeds risk, and in this family, love knows no boundaries. Across town, emotional turmoil was brewing in another household. Back at the DiMera mansion, Johnny found himself wrestling with one of the hardest decisions of his life. Chanel had asked him to consider adoption, to take a step forward and become the father figure to a child that desperately needed one. But Johnny, consumed by self-doubt and uncertainty about his own future, turned down the request. The silence between them was deafening. And just as Chanel tried to urge him to reconsider, Paulina walked in, and she was not pleased. Paulina, fiery and protective as ever, didn't hold back. Her daughter's heart had been shattered, and she wanted answers. But as she stood there, glaring into Johnny's conflicted eyes, something softened. Because Paulina knew what it meant to question parenthood. She had once given up a child herself, and that wound, though scabbed, never truly healed. She saw something familiar in Johnny's hesitation. He wasn't being cruel, he was being careful. And maybe, just maybe, that was the most fatherly thing of all. But that didn't mean she would forgive him easily. Hope is a powerful drug, and Paulina couldn't ignore the cruelty of giving Chanel a taste of it only to snatch it away. Elsewhere, trouble was brewing in the town square. Chad stormed toward Kat and Felicity, his eyes dark with questions. The fundraiser was over, but the emotional fallout had just begun. Word had gotten around that Kat's bachelorette party had included an auction date, and now secrets were bubbling to the surface. Chad demanded the truth. Was this innocent fun or something more deceitful? And Felicity, standing between them, couldn't help but feel the tremors of a situation quickly spiraling out of control. In the midst of this chaos, Leo and Gabby had their own combustible showdown. Together with his trademark snark and biting wit, Leo cornered Gabby with pointed accusations. But what exactly did he think she was guilty of? Was he simply stirring the pot, as he often does, or did he truly believe she had a hand in EJ's shooting? Or worse, was he trying to frame her for something much bigger? The lines between ally and enemy were blurring fast, and if Gabby wasn't careful, she might find herself caught in a web she never intended to spin. In yet another corner of Salem, whispers surrounded Sophia and her mysterious baby. While not the central storyline, speculation about the baby's paternity grew louder. Some believed Aaron was the father, while others were convinced the entire adoption arc was being wrapped up too hastily, perhaps a signal from the writers that Sophia's storyline was reaching its conclusion. But whatever the reason, her wide-eyed reactions and constant surprise were beginning to wear thin on the town's patience. Was there more to her than the overplayed expressions? Or was her time in Salem truly nearing its end? As the episode drew to a close, Salem stood on the edge of multiple precipices. A man fights for his life while his son plots theft to save him. A family fractures under the weight of truth and lies. A woman returns with mystic artifacts and old secrets. A father may be facing betrayal from within his own bloodline. And a young couple faces the devastating truth that love, while powerful, cannot always conquer fear. April 30th was not just another day in Salem. It was the day past decisions began to bear fruit, and not all of it sweet. And as we look toward tomorrow, one thing is clear: the winds of change are blowing through Salem, and no one, absolutely no one, will be untouched by their force. Spoilers for Thursday, May 1st, 2025. On Thursday, Sean turns to Steve, aka Patch, and asks for a dangerous favor. He needs help stealing a drug from Dr. Russell to save his father Bo's life. It's a desperate move, but Kayla believes it may be Bo's only chance. And of course, Patch won't say no, not when it comes to saving a lifelong friend. Meanwhile, Xander and Alex sit down for a business talk, and it looks like they're making power moves while Philip is being pushed aside in the Titan Empire. There's a chance Xander may need to go to court to force Philip to legally transfer half of Titan to him, unless Philip chooses to step down willingly. Philip was visibly anxious last week when the police came around, worried that Xander might snitch and land him behind bars. But in the end, it seems that Brotherhood held Xander back. He didn't turn Philip in. Now, we'll see if Philip returns the favor by signing the transfer, or if he'll fight back. Elsewhere, Alex discovers Stephanie is hiding a secret. He stumbles upon a manuscript she's been writing. Could it be a romance novel? And more importantly, who inspired the male lead? Jealousy and curiosity spark within Alex as he begins to question just what Stephanie has been pouring into those pages. Kayla also has a heart-to-heart with Stephanie, possibly about the book, or maybe about something else her daughter hasn't told Alex yet. Meanwhile, Javi Hernandez overhears something from Leo, and given Leo's love for gossip and mischief, that's almost guaranteed to stir up trouble. At the same time, Gabby and Philip are caught in an argument, and this time, if it's about Gabby being in trouble, Philip seems unwilling, or unable, to help her. Spoilers for Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Wrapping up the week with high drama, Friday's episode promises major fallout from everything that's built up over the past few days. Sean and Patch move forward with their bold plan to break into the hospital, risking arrest, their careers, and their freedom, all for a chance to save Bo. But will they make it in time? And what if they fail? Xander and Philip may have a direct confrontation. Will Xander issue an ultimatum? Or will the bond between brothers crumble under the weight of ambition and betrayal? Stephanie is forced to come clean about her manuscript to Alex. Her confession might reveal a painful truth, or open a new chapter of honesty in their relationship. Leo, armed with something juicy from Javi or Gabby, may choose to go public. And if he does, it could set off a scandal that rocks Salem to its core. Meanwhile, Kayla faces the consequences of staying silent about the drug theft plan. Someone at the hospital, maybe Dr. Russell himself, starts to sense that something suspicious is unfolding behind the scenes. Salem is in chaos. Families are torn, loyalties are tested, and impossible choices are being made between life and death, truth and lies, love and betrayal. Don't miss a single moment of Days of Our Lives, where every day is a battle, every secret has consequences, and every heart has something to lose.